again, we did mention that there were some signs of life from Bren, and I think it came at the point where Carl TZ was able to shut down JP's Ling, which kept him in the game, sort of, by allowing him to catch up in items. He was down maybe just 500 gold to 1,000 until the tail end of that 13-minute bout. But I guess we were all just partly going off of instinct when we said Sunsparks would win this game in the best of three series. But with that being said, I think the mental reset is all the more important. The stakes are high, but both teams aren't exactly fighting for tournament life just yet. They're in the upper bracket semis, and if they do lose this series, may that be Sunsparks or Bren, they still have a chance at becoming two-time champions. But with that being said, I'd like to remind you guys watching right now that the form for today's mythical raffle draw will now be closed. All right, 3 winners of the legendary prize will be announced after the break. So stay tuned to see if you've won. So that's later on in the day. So if you have filled it in and you want to win yourself some goodies from our sponsors, do stay around, all right? With that being said, the game is about to start real soon here, Wolf and Rockheart. I need to ask you guys, our predictions, they could be everywhere at this point, since anything and everything will happen in the playoffs. That for sure we know. But who do you think is going to take this series? Did you have a prediction prior to this game here? Was it a 2-1 for you? Was it a 2-0?
I felt that if Bren Esports loses the first game, they can take it 2-1 still. It's hard because I kind of want to see the draft first, but I think Sunsparks is going to take this. This road to the playoffs for Sunsparks is probably one of the smoother ones. Well, not compared to Bren, but maybe we can see.
Early game, magkakaroon talaga ng problema yung early game. Oh, look at this! The funnel! Everything in between! Alaban ng sort na lang! Market will connect! Play the show for Seth Robert Davis. Moves again for 3 members of Sunsparks. Takes out 4. Moves again. Says, you can't take me now. They're gonna shut down on the far side.
Why survive for long enough for the rest of Sunsparks to overdrive this?
Pero gusto pa lumaban dito ng STI. The time journey mula dito kay DK, pero Joy will fall down. At dito na yung ating Link. Link don't stop this. Tower na amazing movement mula kay JP. Ang tagal ko nag-farm para dito. And STI ngayon, hindi na masatakbo. Naku!
And just like that, we have come to Game 2. This is the draft, ladies and gentlemen. Sunsparks ahead by 1. Bren Esports going at the start off strong in this draft, taking out Hylos and Ling, while Sunsparks mulling over their second ban. Their first, though, is Claude. Rockheart, I gotta ask you, what kind of heroes are you expecting here? And will we see Bren possibly get a little spicy as they fight for their spot in the upper bracket?
First off, I was about to say no more Ling, and that is exactly what went down there. Again, people are just so, people have been really highlighting that they should ban out the Ling a lot. I've been actually surprised it went through in Game 1. So maybe if the Ling wasn't present, imagine if the Ling wasn't there earlier, that might have been a completely different story in my opinion.
I believe so. Because it's one thing for you to be a good team and prepared to counter comfort pick like the Ling, but it's also another to face against a championship like team like Sunsparks. It's just like you allowing your opponent, your greatest opponent, their best kit, like the best sword, the best punch, the best armor. You're giving it away to your opponents and hope for the best. You may, in your head, theorycraft that you can counter it, but when the time comes, when it's the actual battle, it's totally different, and you'll be surprised and tell yourself, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier allowing a Ling to go 3-0, 5-0 even in the early game, add some mortal sin, but I think you can shut that down. You can stop that tendency even in the draft alone. So don't give one JP De La Cruz his Ling. All right, so Bren Esports having some good habits right now to possibly even out the odds and see a game three. Now, in the first half of the draft, we see this Tams picked up as well as the Valir and Atlas. So at least we can see for sure Lasty is going to have a field day with his Atlas. But Sunsparks now securing the core first here with the carry and giving Greed the Selena. Any impressions so far as we go into the second phase of banning?
Yeah, I think Bren is going back to basics here. If you notice, like these are basically what I would pick if I was going for like a normal ranked game here. Honest. So, is this a sign of fear? Is this a sign of maybe small problems coming up? I'm not sure.
I don't think it's a sign of fear, honestly, because what can go wrong with Atlas, Thams, and Valir? That's like straight up one of the best picks, meta picks in the public matches, specifically when Ling and Hylos spanned out. This was the Kufra. Then against Sunsparks, they kind of prepared for this by just showing us the Selena as well as the carry first. I think that's a sign of maturity from Sunsparks. They're telling us, you cannot counter our carry and you cannot counter our Selena, and we haven't shown our hand, and we can counter what's coming from you guys. So Bren Esports, they need an answer to the Esmeralda at this point and maybe the Selena. So they are considering a popular Kupa and maybe a 1-1 for Carltizi.
Yeah, let's go back to that. I feel like the 1-1 is something that we haven't been seeing a lot, but it's already shown to be promising. So if they lock this in, there you go, right on the docket. It's been so promising in the previous ones. I feel like it's one of those ace in the holes that you've been hiding for the whole tournament, waiting for the right opportunity to bring it out.
Well read, gentlemen. Well read, and I think it's not just us who's hoping to see Carl TZ do awesome 1-1 things, but I think the crowd is as well. If you guys are enjoying the show, do make sure you share the live stream, and of course let us know in the comments. And tell the world that MPL PH Season 5, the upper bracket semis are on its way now. Sunsparks, they're looking to lock in a hero for Rafflesia, and they get the Lolita. I think I like this. I like the Lolita. He's got the confirmed stun, able to pin down Cartesi. And now, looking at these two lineups, I just have to say Sunsparks. They picked up and they locked in the Selena on Greed. And I'm looking forward to some good Greed things. And again, some good comfort picks on the side of Sunsparks. And again, it's safe, but Bren Esports, they have coverage. And they could really pop off with the 1-1. Now, let's get into the hard part of any panel, the predictions. Wolf and Rockhard, what do you think is going to take game number 2?
This is weird, but I think this is a 2-0 for Sunsparks. And another prediction, they're going to invade the blue of the opposing blue. Yeah, Sunsparks will be able to get the first blue of Bren Esports.
Okay, very strong words.
Yeah.
And Rockhard, yours.
I have a great counter because I feel like the 1-1 pick really threw off. This is something that a lot of teams have not actually seen a lot, and I think this Sunsparks might not be prepared to handle this yet. I'm gonna go for Bren here.
All right, for the first time, we are split here in this matchup. I would like to say Sunspark, because I believe that if all else fails, you play what you know and you play it well. With that being said, we're 2-1 here in the panel on behalf of Wolf and Rockhart. My name is Leo. Let's throw it over to our casters, Nomad and Seiya. Take us through this game 2.
I mean, is it going to be a black and blue victory, or is it going to be a black and gold forcing a game number 3? Who knows? We're here going to be delivering you game number 2 in this best of 3 series. I'm Nomad. Alongside with me is Seiya, and I just want to find out what your prediction is. You were talking about Pobol and Koopa there quite a bit before the camera went to us.
Well, yeah, I will agree with you. Okay, sure, the 1-1 pros there is that she wouldn't get caught, but I don't know, my gut says really, I find the Popolo Koopa pick really iffy for the overall lineup of Bren. It could have been a better there can be a better option here. And okay, there's already Valir as your support right here, so I think that there is a better pick for Bren. So to me, I think Sunsparks will be having this.
Well, Brent was the first team that actually made Popol and Koopa work, and it is going to be not actually going to be in the hands of Coco, but instead it's going to be on the hands of Few. And Few was able to just quick push on Popol and Koopa, and that's how Bren Esports were able to get a victory off of that. The real question here is that if Carl Teasy would be able to pop off on that Wan. That's the number one question in my mind here for Brent.
Yeah, and considering that Bren Esports kind of needs a certain amount of equipment for this one to really pop off, and I'm pretty sure if it's in the hands of Carl Teasy, it can just pull through. But the question is the effectiveness of a 1-1 comes to the mid and late phases of the game. So with that, I think this is where Sunsparks can really utilize their early game advantage here with the Selena on the arrows, provided that the arrows are really on point.
Provided that Greed doesn't give out too much HP there, but there is a big rotation over the top side just to shut down Few on that Popol and Koopa, and that might just be a turret conversion as well. And Sunsparks will be forced to fall back as Lusty tries to salvage this top lane. He's down to half HP. I don't think he's going to be overstaying his welcome here, but the rest of Bren Esports are back in action. Carl Teasy finally level 4 will have the ultimate available, but not going to be committing it just yet.
I don't know about man, but okay, it's given into the situation that Sunsparks had 4 people, if I'm not mistaken, onto the top side, shutting down the Popol and Koopa. But that would have been a good opportunity for Bren Esports to, really decrease the health of the turret onto the mid lane instead of actually going in there for a potential pickoff, because it's kind of evident that they won't make it in time, and Sunsparks would have gone to safety by then. But I think that's also a good discipline for the side of Bren Esports, just really wanting to be responsive onto the top side. But speaking of responsive, it looks like we are just having really pokes and dashes right here onto the middle, and again, still going back to the scaling.
Sunsparks are just trying to get the lane priority here in order for them to secure the first turtle of the game, which is going to be adamant that JP gets the first turtle buff and not Wen, or Popol and Koopa for that matter, will be able to melt down the turrets at this point in the game. And that is going to be contested by Coco trying to push back the minion waves in the bottom lane towards the side of Sunsparks in order for them to not start it off. Speaking of starting it off, Lasty trying to start off the turtle there, but he's already down to quarter HP. Going to be forced to back off, and Sunsparks are going to be forced to retaliate here as KLVJ takes down Few. There goes the Numinum Blast, not connecting to anybody. Call TC pops a little bit, not catching a lot of people there. Going to be forced to disengage.
This is a very good harassing to the side of Sunsparks, right? You're really protecting the turtle side, not wanting to give the objectives to the side of Bren Esports, and that exchange would really be in the hands of Sunsparks. But going back right here, last insanity will be used to really pressure up Carl Teasy with the blue buff. Let's see, Carl Teasy will be getting that free hit right here and gets a kill for himself. But in exchange, the guy will be securing the turtle for the side of Sunsparks. Toledo will be using his Guardian's bulwark right here to protect. And again, this is a good transition to disengage because they know that they lack the manpower, so it's best to really keep it safe since it was a good trade-off for them.
Lassie wasn't able to connect with the last, not the last insanity, but with the fatal links there, and that was a bit unfortunate. It could have caught JP and KLVJ there, but
yeah.
Sunsparks is going to be converting the turtle tank into a turret tank here, while Bren Esports tries to retaliate as they force Greed back. Rafflesia is going to get caught. Luminum Blast not available to catch them off. Bottom lane turret for Sunsparks is still alive, while KLVJ and Coco, bit of a scuffle on the top side.
That was a good usage of Koopa here from the side of you to really, disconnect that initial engagement coming from that bottom side to avoid any casualties. But going back, I think this is still an objective game for the side of Sunsparks. Really patient. They're not similar to game number one. They are not the ones who are engaging the team fights. Rather, they're just really reacting or counter-initiating what Bren has to offer. And speaking of this, this is really looking good, really, for Sunsparks, because other than the fact that they're waiting for the mid game, they're actually giving JP a lot of space to really go for economies and go for these resource games.
Yeah, and speaking of resource takes, the turret is going to go down. That's another resource going into the size of Sunsparks. And JP really just trying to farm up and stay as safe as possible here in this game, because once JP loses his touch in this game and just keeps dying, that's when Sunsparks is going to start falling down. A commanding lead by Sunspark so far, 5 minutes in the game. 3-1 is the scoreline, and JP is in the lead in terms of gold. In terms of gold, finally securing that endless battle, kind of an early endless battle to add to the fact.
Because the funneling from the carry here is really, optimized. And Calamity Reaper as well for the Esmeralda to add that more damage to the side of Sunsparks right here. But I think this is already evident that we are seeing that Bren is in a bit of a pinch right here in terms of map control and economy. Because if ever so that Sunsparks is still going to go all through and pushes the second tier turrets, this is going to limit the resources that Bren can take, and I guess this is also a call that it might be possible for them to contest any more main objectives, like the trigger of the board.
Well, a team fight for Bren Esports, the team fight aspect of Bren Esports here is actually really big, actually a lot better than how Sunsparks is going to be approaching this team fight. It got a lot of catches, a lot of sustains as well, and Rebo will be the utility, what do you call this? A utility disengager, just knocking everybody back on the side of Sunsparks if ever they start jumping in. Speaking of jumping in, that's going to be JP jumping out of the fight. Numinum Blast connecting, not onto many people. That's the trade. For Bren Esports, they might just be able to trade this into a mid lane turret, as the Turtle Pit is going to be the hot spot here for Kilowatt into the last Insanity. Forces everybody to stay away from him, but I don't think he's going to survive this. But Reflexion there to back him off. Selena as well as KLVJ jumping in the backline. KLVJ with a falling star move onto Carl Teasy. Carl Teasy manages to survive that. Kilowatt still on the aggressive. Reflection's going to go down.
So this person of the sides of Bren Esports is making things shackles here, as one man here will be going for Esmeralda here. The outplay is real for the side of Carl Teasy, allowing himself to not get caught by the members of Sunsparks, and this is going to be the knockout followed by the public cleanup right here for the side of Sunsparks, and this is a good disengagement. I'm pretty sure this is a good trade-off for the side of Bren Esports.
I just gotta say, the micro of Carl Teasy there in the bottom lane was so perfect. He waited for the last possible minute for him to pop the ultimate as soon as his teammates were in range. He was waiting for it to go off cooldown as well. He's just hiding KLVJ as much as he can, and that would just goes to show how genius Carl Teasy is in this game.
Indeed, and that was a good take for Bren Esports to really compensate for what they have lost into the early minutes of the game. But you have to think as well that if ever so that JP can still scale through, but this is the replay of how things went through. So the Movita was already shut down, and they are going to be transitioning here onto the bottom side. But look how Carlis really waited for the Esmeralda to really pop off the ult before coming in for that kill, and followed up by this knockup from the Public Koopa, and it goes for the cleanup. And that was just really swell, really enough to escalate their goal here for the side of Bren.
Yeah, Goldswing is slowly turning towards Bren Esports as they try to equalize the goal deficit. Coco, though, is going to get caught. Last Insanity, going to be caught. Numinum Blast not going to be catching anybody at all. That is a wasted ult, and Sunsparks are going to be trying to look for the silver lining in that fight, but they do get Lasty. They don't get the bottom lane tier 2 turret. But that is still something to look forward to, as few almost dies there on the hands of KLVJ, and the rest of Sunsparks are after Few, and I don't think he's going to be able to survive that.
That was a good flicker in for Greed, right? They're really greedy, but you know, it has to be done so that they could really shut down the potential scaling that View is up to for the remaining minutes of our game. But still, this is looking pretty well still for the side of Sunsparks, really dominating on the map control that they have, and they still managed to get that cleanup from the leader right there, really pinning down the Valier. And here we go. 2 members are out for the side of Bren Esports, and for Sunsparks, they don't have a castle for yet. And this is a good opportunity for Sunsparks if they are not being able to get free hit by the Wanwan.
And man, speaking of the Wanwan, Carl TC on the Wanwan is doing okay. He is actually ahead of Carry in terms of gold, but at the end of the day, the rest of the team needs to step up here for Bren Esports. I mean, some of the checklists that we talked about earlier on at the start of the game was that Few was the split pusher. It's going to be a utility Popoling Koopa. We have not seen any good solo split pushes here from Few.
And of course, another thing that we have to take note is that Bren Esports cannot really rely solely on Carl TZ alone. They really have to give, if ever so that they will rely on him, they have to give him a good initiation onto the team fight. And how can that be? 1, from Lasky's Fatal Links, and number 2, from the containment of Rebo for both Rebo and Coco. And finally, the stuns that comes from Few. But how could they do that though? They just really have to bring down the superior members of Sunsparks. But here, we are seeing that Sunsparks, especially for the Selena here, just really on point with the arrow.
JP is just melting every single one. Yeah, he's a dad. He's going to be winning this championship for his kid, and that would be the best weekend of his life if ever that's going to happen. And with the way the Sunspark has been playing this, that might just be the case, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, I just got to agree with you with what you said earlier on. Greed was connecting with the Abyssal arrows left and right. Better than Shinbu.
Oh, I hear a roast. But again, you know, let's focus here on to Bren and Sunsparks for now. And yes, the arrows are connecting for Greed right here, and that is a good play to actually start some team fights. And I just saw earlier that JP has already done deal with the golden staff that he has, so this I think can really be good in terms of his free hitting abilities. But again, for Bren Esports, the option that they need right here is that Miracle Punch, wherein they could pin down one of the 4 damagers. Is pinning down. Look at that Fatal Link here to really compile the members of Sunspark. That Saturn will be used to harass the members of Bren going back, but still it was enough to really get for the floor, and still giving them a bit of leeway to just really go and defend. But up to what extent? Let's see. Sunsparks right here, just applying tons of pressure, dispersing themselves all throughout the lanes, forcing Bren to really just go inside their turf. And while they do all that fiasco, looking here into our map, Sunsparks just getting all the resources they could take.
That mid lane take by Sunsparks could have went their way. Rafflesia's Numenor Blast didn't actually hit anybody, and I haven't actually noticed any good Numenor Blast from Rafflesia. It's crucial that Rafflesia hits with the Numenor Blast in order for them to get a good foothold in a pending team fight, because as soon as the Numenor Blast hits, that's when KLVJ is going to dive in. That's when JP and Kilowash would just dive in as well and just dish out a lot of damage, and it's all going to be relying on Rafflesia. You're not going to be relying on Greed on his Abyssal Arrow, because that's just going to be catching one person.
Yeah, it's a single target. And I think Rafflesia right here really needs to work on number 1, the angle, and number 2, the timing. He really has to know when can Bren be compiled together to get that Numenor Blast pop it. But speaking of engagements, let's see how are the winning conditions for the side of Bren right here, Nomad. It's getting a bit, dwindling. Yeah,
They need 2 good team fights and then convert it to a push. That's the reset here for Bren Esports, and I'm not seeing any possibility of that happening just now. Lasty and Few There goes the Fatal Link. Lassie finally connecting with a good Fatal Link. Luminal Blast is going to get canceled, and they are getting retaliated on by Sunsparks. Immortality is going to be popped on Lassie. Lassie's going to fall down. Coco, next one in line, Kill VJ is going to be pushing forward, but instead, Sunsparks is going to be focusing their attention on the mid lane turn, convert the minion pushes into the super minions. Kind of overstaying their welcome here, Sunsparks, and now they're going to be paying the price. JP down to quarter HP. Yes, he has the immortality, but that's still going to be a resource that's going to be coming out. It's going to be immortality's getting popped left and right. Reflection not in a good spot. Kill VJ going to fall down once again. Carl TZ on fire with that ultimate, and now Bren Esports are looking good here, and this is going to be one of the reset conditions that they need to come back into this game.
Yep, and that was really greedy and overcommitted for the side of Sunsparks right here. I mean, they should have went back when they had the chance, because number one, they didn't have minions upon their speed to go for that direct push. And number two, it was already sufficed that they had the good pickoff onto the bottom side. It kind of leaves the question as to why they needed to stay any longer onto the mid, which means this they just gave Carl TZ an opportunity to really rise up in terms of economy.
Man, the economy here, speaking of economy, Sunsparks is just really locked on in terms of the economy. 12,000 gold there onto carry, and look at Esmeralda, 10,000. And on the side of Bren Esports, you're only seeing Carl TZ on top with 11k and nobody else. Everybody else is lacking in terms of the funneling department. I mean, yeah, funneling is focusing everything onto your core damage dealer. But Sunsparks has a backup here onto Kill VJ.
So it means that Sunsparks here does not really rely on the carry alone, but also Esmeralda. But here, again, Luminon Blast will be catching two this time, but they're quite dispersed. But Esmeralda will be having a pick up for himself. Let's see if they manage to get the 1-1 here. Okay, 1-1 will be having an exchange on his own. Wasn't able to get shut down and still survives. Kill VJ though is going to be cornered right here. But still, the Selena has able to really shut down Carl TZ. And that was a 4-man down from the side of Sunsparks right here. And this is looking pretty good because they are already transitioning themselves to one of the main objectives of this game, going into Lord, and Coco has no choice really but to really defend with all his might.
Yeah, I mean, the death timers are just enough for Bren Esports to minimize the losses that they're going to get here from the defending push. Sunsparks are going to be focusing their attention on the bottom lane and on the top lane, so really, Coco shouldn't die here. The rest of the members of Bren Esports should not die at all in the next couple of minutes. It's looking very dangerous for Bren Esports.
Yes, definitely, because there are a lot of sources of damage for the side.
And the Lord is going to make its way over to the mid lane. Going to be imperative that Bren Esports would defend this incoming push. Sunsparks, so they are going to be walking with the Lord. Lassie in the back lines. Let's have Fatal Links. Will not be using it just yet. Going to be reinforcing the teammates here. Koopa's going to go down. There goes the last Insanity by Kilowatt. It's going to be forcing everybody to disperse a bit while Sunsparks works on the bottom lane turret here. Green and the rest need to reposition themselves. Over in the mid lane, though, HP's dropping dangerous low for Kilowatt. It's not looking good at all for Bren Esports, but Sunsparks, they are going to reset. They're going to disengage. Not a lot of damage being dealt here on the base of Bren Esports. They are going to be taking the bottom lane turret down to at least 2 more hits. Luminum Blast going to be used to deter Lassie from going in. Any more top lane is going to be worked on by JP and Reflecia. Top lane is open. Bottom lane is open. It's now down to the wire here for Bren Esports. Fatal Links available. Goes for the Fatal Links onto Kill VJ. I don't think that is the wisest choice here. There goes the last Insanity in the back lines. Greets takes down Lassie. Carl TZ goes down as well. The primary damage healer of Bren Esports is not available here. And Sunsparks will be moving on to the grand finals. On this, Bren Esports actually defend this. Kill VJ takes down Coco. And this is going to be it. Sunsparks moving to the grand finals. They're getting rid of Bren Esports in the process. Wow, that was really a aggressive from Sunsparks. They're really hungry. They are still in the road to get a two-time championship here. And Bren, once again, just like before, they will be brought down to the lower bracket. They will be going up against whoever wins against Onyx PH and Exit Nation. Oh wow, that fight